I'm just curious, like, and I know you probably know the answer as a therapist. What are some ways to find those healthy coping mechanisms? Or, what are some maybe general coping mechanisms that, people should maybe embrace?
That's a great question. I think, and I take this from my old supervisor back in the day, kind of an acronym he gave me. He said P.M.S, so not premenstrual cycle. So it's not that. And I have to clarify this with people. And when I work with women too, I'm like, I say PMS, like, but not that, not what you're thinking. It's just an easy way to remember it. But it's
I will not forget that.
Person, mind, substance. Okay. So the way we're wired, when your kids get hurt, they're sad, they're upset. What are they looking for?
They're looking for comfort.
From who? Were they good? Did you teach your daughter to do that?
No.
No. I didn't teach my boys either. Right. I didn't teach them to come crying to me and want to be held, and I didn't teach them that. It's naturally built into our wiring that we seek out safe connection. And so that's our primary, that's the person. That's our primary way of navigating distressing situations, is to seek out comfort from another human being that we feel safe with. So the caveat, though, is depending upon how we were raised and depending upon how our parents responded to us, for better or for worse, in general, not saying the one-off, because no parent's perfect, but in general, how did they respond to us when we were in some type of emotional, mental distress? Were they responsive? Did they comfort us? Did they hold us? Did they soothe us? Or, for the majority of the time, like, again, majority, because parents aren't perfect. We have our moments when we might, but I'm talking majority of the time. Or did the majority of the time, did they negate our feelings? Did they get angry with our feelings? Were they even around? So we learn as children to adapt to our environment to survive when we're in distress. So we learn that we either learn that, hey, people are safe for the most part, that for the most part I can turn to people and feel validated and comforted and work through things, and that's our primary source. Or we learn that typically, people are either not there for us or not safe. And so we over rely on kind of an unhealthy independence.
Okay.
And then we start turning to other things to soothe. And we do that naturally anyway. We start to find other ways of kind of soothing by ourselves, but within the balance of also seeking out authentic relationship with our primary caregiver. And then eventually, as we get older, with friends or with the spouse, we learn that, I can do this. But a lot of us don't have the experience. That's the primary way, person. So if at the end of the day, what we're really wired for biologically is other people, other safe people. So that's the first most effective way of dealing, as far as a coping style, is within relationship with another human being, to be known, to be seen for who we are and accepted.
Yeah.
Right. Because we're all looking for acceptance just with us. Because often we fear, well, people know this about me, or if they knew this, I'd be rejected. They wouldn't want me. They wouldn't love me. Right. That shame comes in. So that's the first. And then the second two-way, mind, is kind of your own way of coping, like journaling, meditation, writing, processing, right? It's kind of engaging the problem, but by yourself.
Yeah.
So not distracting, but you're still engaging it, and whatever that might be. And there's so many ways to do that.
Sure.
And the third way is distraction. So when I say distraction, or substance, and when I say substance, the reason why he said and I say substance is not that necessarily substance is a negative, because there are good substances. It goes to how we use them and what they and the purpose they serve, because there are plenty of unhealthy substances that we use.
Right.
And what happens? So think of that as a tier. So P.M.S. So person, mind, substance. So often though, we have it like this, where our first go-to is a substance to cope. We rarely use our mind, and often we never turn to people.
Wow.
We tend to flip it, where we tend to distract, use substances to kind of disengage from the world. And there's various reasons as to why we do that. And often when people come to therapy, when they see me, that tends to be their primary way of coping, is through the use of some plethora of substances, some healthy, some unhealthy. But what they're trying to do is navigate their own emotional pain and distress. But they don't know how to talk to people. And often when I get to hear their story, there's reasons as to why they don't talk to people. And often part of their healing process is grieving and healing from the past, from their parents, from past hurts and wounds, and starting to then retrain them to say, we need to flip that and start to seek out healthy, because I am essentially that healthy, safe connection.
Yeah.
So sorry to spoil for everybody, but that's the therapist trick, is that we are that safe person that for a lot of people, when they say, I don't talk to anybody about this, we are the first person that they feel safe enough to actually show themselves, so to speak.
Wow. Travis. Wow. Man,
That was huge.
You know what? You should start. Wow. You should start a podcast for therapy for dads. No. Yo, that was amazing, bro. I'm so glad I asked that question. That was really good. Dang.
Okay. I'm glad it was a sufficient
Hector,
answer.
that was so good.
That was good. I was like, wait, where's he going with this?
Right.